everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Nindies and Indies, a Nintendo fan podcast. I'm your host, ScrapGear, and joining me, as always, my good buddy, Draco Augustus. How's it going, man?
Hey, man. It's going good. It's going good.
Alright, well, let's get right into this. What have you been up to this past week?
Well, the frustration in my voice comes from me trying to beat the final boss in Lightfall, which I'm sure we will talk about some.
Oh, yeah.
And other than that, I played a little bit of Fortnite. I actually was watching my buddy Sosa play Fortnite, and he got in the hype zone on Mixer 4 times, and he won 2 of those times.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. Other than that, I played a little bit of Super Daryl Deluxe, which I really want to keep getting more and more into that game because it's a lot of fun. We've just had, the whole Lightfall thing come up, and we kind of had to focus on that. But then other than that, what else did I play? A little bit of Splatoon. I picked Team Raphael for the Splatfest, which is the Ninja Turtle. And what's cool is after this Splatfest, the next Splatfest will be Michelangelo versus Donatello. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it will be the winner of this Splatfest versus the winner of that Splatfest to see who is the ultimate Splatfest Ninja Turtle. So
I would be totally into that, but I've already said this in any time it's been brought up. It's like, what is Nickelodeon trying to do to my turtles?
Just make money off of them. What else?
So I can understand if they want to change the design because it happens. Changing the design up a little bit. I would have to say my favorite personal design or art style for the turtles is in the IDW Ninja Turtle comics. They switched artists. I can't remember exactly when. I think it was after the first 12 or so issues. But they switched artists, and all the turtles look much... They're just the way their facial... If they weren't wearing their colored bandanas, you'd still be able to tell who is who just by how they look. Like, Leonardo looks very serious and stoic. Raph looks really angry. Donatello looks like a nerd. And Michelangelo looks like a little kid.
Yeah.
So it's perfect, and I love that. And again, like I said, I'm not the new design. I've got some issues with the turtles, but whatever. They want to do something a little bit different. That's fine. Why does Raph have Tonfa instead of his Sai? That is my big problem.
That's one of my main issues.
Yeah. And then I have no idea what Michelangelo has, but they're not nunchucks, or it's not a nunchuck. It's like some weird whip ball thing. Okay.
See, I hadn't even looked that far into that. I just saw Raphael was on the front of the cover for the Splatfest, and he didn't have size. I was like,
Yeah, I enlarged that picture, and I looked at it. I was like, what is in Michelangelo's hands? What is that?
That's funny. Yeah. Whatever. Hopefully we get a Ninja Turtle game on the Switch. That'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. E3 is gonna be nuts.
Oh man. Were you still in chat when in N64 Josh's stream last night when he brought up E3?
I don't know.
Well, he was saying like he's expecting a lot of stuff to be announced from Nintendo and Microsoft, like pulling out all the stops. We'll probably see a little bit more Anthem. Some other first-party games from Nintendo, as well as some other third-party games coming. And then he talked about, and Sony will probably show us trailers for stuff that won't come out for another 6 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, but we got so much info from Sony last year. He's like, well, what do you mean? And it's like,
They'll show us another trailer from some of their stuff, and it still won't come out. Yeah. It'll be just a little bit longer of a trailer than there was last year at E3.
Well, like I said, he was like, well, what do you mean? And it was like, because I had said, we got so much info from Sony last year, and he was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, I was being sarcastic. I know it's really hard to get that in chat, in text chat, but yeah, I was being sarcastic. I'm pretty sure we'll see some new things from Sony that'll probably come out in 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's That's probably exactly how it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you've been playing?
Maybe, but I don't know. Okay. So I forgot to bring this up on the last episode. But the Aftercharge Alpha, I got in on that, and they didn't have any sort of embargo or anything. And I actually already wrote an article on it on Mulehorn Gaming. So if you haven't read that yet, check it out. And yeah, man, that's a fun little game. And it's going to be coming to which I think I've said on here before, but it's coming to the Switch and Xbox and PC, and it's going to be cross-platform for all of them.
Nice.
Which, is just awesome. I mean, it's awesome to see an indie game doing that. And yeah, it really looks like it could have a competitive scene to it, and it looks like it'll be fun to grind because you'll be able to get different skins for each of your different robots or defenders. Which yeah, so that looks cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more from that. But other than that, I think that's it.
All right. Well, as far as for me, I've been playing just a small handful of games. Lightfall being the main one. I was fortunate enough to get a Steam code for that, and I did the review on the Mulehorn Gaming site for it. Namely because I got more time with it than you have. I think I got it like a week before you did.
That happens. When it comes to getting Steam codes versus Switch codes, that definitely happens.
Generate a code. Here you go. Here's your Steam code. Nintendo. Okay, we need some more codes. Okay, give us about 2 weeks. Okay, here's your 3 codes.
Yeah, the game launches in 2 days.
Yeah, so we'll get into Lightfall. Lightfall is going to be our big conversation piece for this episode. But the other 2 things that I played, and I'm only going to touch a little bit on one of what I've been playing a ton of the past couple of days, is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Got back into that. There was a new update that added a new blade for everybody. It's pretty much the anti-Cosmos for anyone who's ever played any of the Xenosaga games or has Cosmos in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's Telos. So I got her kind of working on some of her stuff, and I was like, oh, how can I work her into this, into my blade team setup that I had going at the time. And I did some juggling around, namely because I really, really, really wanted to use the new Poppy Buster, which is the first DLC blade.
Is that big mech?
That is the big mech, yes.
Yeah.
Getting the Poppy Buster really, really easy because I think you can get it by like chapter 5, and as long as you have Morag, Tora, Poppy, Rex, and Nia, you can go and get it at chapter 5 if you're brand new to the game and you got the DLC. The issue is going to come in completing Poppy Buster's affinity chart, because one of them is you have to view 70 heart-to-hearts. I don't even know how many are in a single playthrough. But it does appear like once you get the Poppy Buster and you go through New Game Plus and everything, you can go through New Game Plus multiple times to re-watch those heart-to-heart conversations. And those will count towards the Poppy Buster one. So I had to do a lot of finagling. I had one party set up. I'm like, oh, this works perfect. I'm just going to keep using this one. And then I'm like, oh, now there's Poppy Buster. I got to use Poppy Buster. So I had to do some juggling around. And then just kind of, I was looking at some other Blade team combos. I was like, what are some things that, other people have found to just do ridiculous amounts of damage to bosses? And I've been working on a couple of those teams. And yeah, just kind of building up to that. But I got bit by the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 bug again. Like I played way longer than I should have last night. I think I was up until 1:30 in the morning playing.
Oh
yeah. But yeah, so was doing that. The other game that I've been playing is I picked up Jotun. The Valhalla edition, which I said I was going to do, and I did it. And I pre-downloaded the game, and then I had trouble sleeping the day or the night before it came out, and I was like, oh, well, it's after midnight now. I should be able to go and play that. Go and I click on it, and it's like, oh, we need to check the internet to make sure it's playable. It's like, okay, it should be playable. It's 12:15. This title is not currently playable. What do you mean? What do you mean? So it didn't go live worldwide until noon Eastern.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I remember you saying that.
Come on. But yeah, so I got to play that, and I did end up actually eventually beating it, and I got all of there's only one collectible in it. As you go through, in each of the levels, there's a golden apple, and it increases your health, which is a huge help. But there's 5 different areas or 5 different zones that you go to, and then in each of those zones, there's 2 areas, and you have to collect, well, except for the first one. The first one, there's only 1 area, and then you go and you fight the boss, which is the Forest Jotun, I think was the first one that you come across. So you go, you fight that, and then you get access to the other 4 areas, and then you can tackle those in any order you want. And within each of those, there's 2 areas, and in each of those areas, there's a rune that you have to collect, as well as a golden apple that you can find to increase your health.
Okay.
But it is voice acted, but all of the dialogue, I believe, is in, I don't want to say Norse, but it's definitely in the Viking,
I can't think of that. Yeah, that.
It might be Norse.
I don't know. It is. Yeah.
But yeah, but there are subtitles, so you can do everything with that. But as you go through and you complete each of the levels, you find out more about the main character's life. And you play as a woman that was born, and then when she was born, there was this tremendous lightning storm that went on for days. So her father named her Thora after Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful game. The art is amazing. It is very short because I started playing it Friday. Yeah, Friday, and then I beat it early Saturday when I started playing it again. I had gotten through pretty much all but 2 of the stages, or 2 of the zones on Friday, and then I did those last 2 zones, and then I beat the final boss. And I will say, the final boss, much easier than the Fire Jotun, the Fire Giant. He was a big pain in the butt. Namely because I was at full health and he one-shot me. I was like, oh, he can do that. Okay. But yeah, that game was amazing. It played great, handled amazing. I mean, the game has been out for a while. It came out on the Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One. Yeah,
I saw that it was a port, I guess, but still, I mean, it's awesome to have an awesome game like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it still probably sold more copies now than it has then.
Oh, when I was waiting for it to go live, there were a bunch of people. I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to buy it again on my Switch.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, this is the first time I bought it, the first time I'd even heard of it. It completely went under my radar.
So many indie games.
Well, and this one was on Kickstarter too.
Okay.
Which there are 2 Kickstarter Easter eggs in the game, which are awesome. There's one, it's a giant wall. It says, these are the names of all the warriors who fought for Clan Thunder Lotus. Thunder Lotus is the developer of the game.
Okay.
And I was looking at it, I'm like, that's got to be all the Kickstarter backers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
But yeah, Jotun was amazing. I highly recommend it to anyone, and especially I don't know if Johnny Cage 85 is listening, but I know that he really likes Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and the fights in it are very much like that. You have your certain abilities that you can use, but your main thing that you want to do is you just gotta learn the boss's patterns and dodge and attack, hit and run.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was an awesome game. I died a few times, not including the one against the Fire Giant, but
Norse mythology is really in right now too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, I completely forgot to take a picture of the last issue of the Mighty Thor while I have Jotun playing on the Switch, and we're like, this is how
Yeah.
like everybody's been like, oh, God of War, and I'm like, oh, okay, you get your Norse on that way, I'm gonna do it this way. This is much better. But yeah, just super fun. Like I said, was a little short, but totally worth it.
Yeah. I mean, that's good, right? Like,
yeah.
that's the kind of games
And
we need, at least,
yeah.
is games we can get through pretty quickly.
There is a Valhalla mode after you complete the game, and pretty much it's just boss rush, but all the bosses are like 10 times more difficult than they were before. I was like, oh, like this is boss rush mode. I'm sure these are going to be more difficult. I'll start with the first, the forest giant, because she was the easiest one to beat. I did like 2 hits and I could not stay alive. And I'm like, oh, good. Glad this is a thing right now.
Right.
But yeah, Jotun was super fun. I don't think I will be tackling the Valhalla edition. I'll probably just play through the story mode again.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a super fun game. There was also a lot of different points where like you get into a stage and it will give you some Norse mythology.
Okay.
And it'll be like there's one stage where you go through and you have to hit these crystals to form the constellations. And like when you finally form the constellation, it will tell you what the constellation is and a little bit about that constellation as far as Norse mythology goes.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I remember you kind of, when we were talking before, you kind of compared it to how Mulaka had things you can find or, do that will give you a bit of the history of the Tarahumara and stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I like it when games do that.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that is all that I've been playing. So we're going to move on to our main topic, and we are going to gush over Lightfall, because that game is so fun. So fun.
Yeah, that was a fun, or is a fun game. I'm just at a not so fun part right now.
You're at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So a little bit of background on Lightfall. It is developed by Bishop Games, and it is a platformer in all senses of the word.
2D platformer.
2D platformer. And pretty much you play as this little guy named Nox, and you have a cube that you can spawn to make platforms, as well as use as a weapon or a shield to a degree. And it just came out last Thursday? Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, last Thursday.
Yes.
I forgot when it came out because I got it like the Thursday or Friday before it came out. And I got, like I said, I got the chance to review it, and I went and I played the crap out of that game. I think on my Steam account, I have like almost 10 hours into it already. To be fair, some of that was me leaving it open for the review so I could go and double check some things.
Oh yeah.
While I was doing it, but I still put a lot of time into it. But yeah, it is a very short game. There's 4 acts, and each act only has about 3 or 4 stages in it. But Draco is on the final stage of the final act, and how long have you been working on that boss?
A few days. I don't know. Like, too long. It's this whole game is awesome. Like, I love as you're like, you run so fast through the levels and stuff, and of course, like jumping off of walls and creating your boxes to get over and around things, and it's all tons of fun. But this boss is just so tedious. I'm actually kind of disappointed with the boss, because as good as the whole rest of the game was, the boss is like, you kind of just you have to move a little bit to dodge something and stay there for a while, and you can kind of just like stand in one spot for a while.
The thing is, like, of all of the bosses, of all the bosses, like, this is the boss that tests you the most.
I guess.
and because, like you said, you've been moving so fast throughout all of it, like, even against one of the other bosses, like, you're not really standing still, you can't move super fast, but you're still jumping from platform to platform.
Yeah, as it's like sucking all the platforms in, you're talking about the big blob monster thing. Yeah, that was a pretty cool boss. Because like he said, you have to keep moving, but you have to move with purpose and accuracy, right?
Yeah.
And this, and then you have to like get to the point where you can hit the crystal that launches the goop in his face. But with this, it's just like you're not working as you're moving. You're not working towards anything. You're just like waiting for just the one opportunity for him to start trying to suck you up, and then you hit him.
Yeah.
And
like I said, this is the boss that, like, it really tests you on, like, the different ways that you can use your Q and patience. Like, you've been going fast this whole time. Imagine trying to beat that boss after you've been doing a speed run of the entire game. And it's like you get to that boss and it's just like, yep, okay.
Yeah.
There was a small part of me that was hoping it would just skip him, but it doesn't.
Right.
But yeah, so let's
not
get
a very
into
speedy speed run.
Yeah, that was it's like a speed run that culminates in the let's just sit and wait.
Yeah, it would have been really cool if they had like almost like a running through a tunnel, and that guy's like they're like flying behind you, and you have to dodge like as you're running or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like for a final boss that was pretty, or it is pretty, just it was disappointing.
All right, well, let's break down the game for our listeners. Graphics, in my review, I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's nothing. Yeah. It's nothing groundbreaking and amazing. I think I put in my review, it's like, if you're looking at the stages, they're no Bob Ross painting.
Yeah, it has a neat art style. You know, I like the art style, the dark with the cool purples and blues and stuff, and then of course, you know, like the neon pink for the things that kill you.
Yeah. Pink is bad.
Yes. Pink is very bad in this game. It will disintegrate you, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like it kind of reminds me of Limbo. That the way that you're kind of a silhouette almost in the front, but your eyes are still lit up. And then maybe that almost mixed with like the colors at least remind me of Faye, which I haven't played. Just seeing the trailers for it and stuff. The colors are very similar.
Yeah, for me, like I said in the review, is like the foreground is never very super interesting. It's always going to be like a very dark color, but it works great with the backgrounds, and the backgrounds are where all of like the really, really nice colors and stuff come in, especially in the bay area where you're on the little ship in the first act. I think that one's just really nicely, brightly colored and everything. Also, I really liked the hidden Kamloop capital in the forest. That one was another one of my favorite ones. Not one of my favorite stages to go through, but it was fun to look at.
Yeah. I definitely liked the art style. All fun to look at.
All right.
But yeah, like you said, simple, but cool. Right? Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got sound, and I gave it a 9 out of 10, just because the music was excellent throughout the whole game.
The music is really good and epic. I mean, especially for, like I said, you're like running real fast, and you have him like narrating and stuff. It's you know, you have the owl narrating for you, and that's just done really well. With the music and the sounds. Also, the sound effects as far as like traps closing or you know, even the voiceover acting was great.
Interestingly enough, if you listen to the Japanese audio of the game, I don't know if that's available on the Switch or not. I know it is on Steam, but the Japanese audio is actually the only one that has two different voice actors. All of the other ones, there are only two speaking parts, and both parts are played by the same person in, their respective language. I can't remember who the English voice actor is, but he did both Strix and the final boss.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard him talk on the final boss enough where I was kind of like, he sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the soundtrack and everything was just awesome. And I'm kind of glad I got it on Steam because I don't know if my version of Lightfall comes with the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the soundtrack is available on Steam.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, like the way that like the traps act, the enemies, like all the different enemies and the traps and stuff have a particular audio tell, so that like if you're just running through stuff, like you can tell when it's going to, like when something's coming at you, or if this trap is going to spring and whatnot.
Like those little bats, you hear them like kind of shriek before they drop down, and yeah. Also, like just the materialization of the cube sounds exactly like that. Does that make sense? Or the box or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all pretty neat.
All right. Next up, story. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It wasn't anything particularly, again, like nothing really groundbreaking, but it was a good story. It fit what's going on in the world of Numbra. Also, all the backstory that you get from Strix, especially the the Night Owl Wars or something like that.
Yeah. The little yellow crystals where you get the chunks, like the collectibles, basically.
Paddlewood's backstory.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Gave you a little more depth of their species itself, and then I mean, it had way more story than I thought it was going to. For what it is, a 2D platformer, like definitely geared towards like speedrunning and stuff. And then you have like a fairly rich backstory for, like I said, for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the ending was a little sad. I'm not going to spoil it for you because eventually you'll beat that final boss.
I'll probably do it like my next try after this, but we just had to get recording and I got it just, yeah.
That boss is just kicking your ass.
But see, that's where it's frustrating to me. It's not like it's kicking my ass. It's just that it's, it just takes so long to get to, like, you have to sit and wait, and then, okay, next attack, move here, sit and wait, move here. It's just the fact that it takes so long to get to where you make progress and figure out the next part or something, and then just something like so small can just like all of a sudden, that's it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, now I have to wait all that time again. That's the most frustrating part.
I will agree with that. The first time, before I beat him the first time, like I lost track of how many tries it took, but like that's where a lot of my time on my first playthrough went to, was just trying to beat him.
Yeah, it just because it takes so long, like because you don't trigger anything that makes him grab you to where you can attack him. You just have to wait for one thing to happen, and then another thing, and then another thing, and then I'll get you. Or it's just I don't know. Like if there was something you could do to speed up that process, that would be amazing.
It took me a few tries to even realize when his one weak spot is, when you can hit him. I spent so much time my first few tries. Just trying to
because I kept trying to just hit him and it took me a little bit to realize, okay, I just need to keep dodging until something happens, like and
what else with the story? There was something else I wanted to say. I don't think there is actually. But yeah, story, like we said, is really good for Lightfall being a pretty much a speedrunning platform game.
Yeah,
at its core. The story is really good. So like, and that's one of the things that I like is like, to be able to get to unlock the speedrun mode, you need to beat each of the levels first.
Yeah.
And then you can go and do that. And then once you beat the whole story, then you can do the marathon speedrun.
Yeah. And it has like the cutscenes, you know, are good. And they're not like these like big theatrical cutscenes. They're just like, you know, kind of like cutouts, almost like going through a little storybook or something.
Yeah.
Which that's a good feel for it, you know, for the game. Like, especially with the characters being like whimsical and stuff, you know, it's whimsical is definitely a good way to describe the game, right? Like,
yeah.
I just thought, yeah. So there you go.
All right. So next up, we've got gameplay. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because as a speedrunning like a fast-paced platforming game, it nails it. It nails it. Runs super smooth. Like you said, the only thing that you probably have to complain about is that final boss. That's literally my only complaint for this whole game. Yeah. But yeah, it runs so smooth, so well. Like, one of the things, I don't know, they probably don't have this on the Switch version. Again, I haven't had the chance to play the Switch version. But on the Steam version, of course, with a lot of Steam games, there's achievements. And my first playthrough, like, I looked at what achievements it would let me look at because it didn't give me the full list because the game technically wasn't out yet, so the page wasn't available.
Okay.
But like, I got to look at a bunch of them, and one of them was like, when you're trying to get into the Kamloop village, you have to go and complete the 5 challenges. Well, one of the achievements was to turn in all 5 of those shards at once. So that's what I did. I worked on trying to do. And then I found out that when you die, all the other ones that you collect go back. I had collected 4, and then I tried to do the fire one, and so I ended up doing that one first, and then once I finally got that one, then I was like, oh, the rest will be easy because I could do the rest of these almost blindfolded.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that definitely affected how I played it. But again, like, everything, like, there were a couple of times where I didn't turn fast enough before I hit the button to, like, do the shield to block one of the lasers, especially when trying to go through the speedrun mode. Like, you're just trying to go fast, and if you do it too quickly, your cube is going to spawn on the wrong side of you, and you get incinerated.
Yeah, those laser things were that took me a while to get past it. So, okay, so how were you doing it? You were spawning the cube in front of you as you would go down?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, what I did was, you know how you can create your cube and then you can actually move the cube?
Yeah.
Like by pressing X?
X button, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do, and I would just move it down with me.
Well, it would depend,
which was hard.
It would depend on what... There were some where, like, you'd have the platform where you would go down with the platform or go up with the platform, and those ones, that's what I... actually, what I eventually did with that was I just used... Well, because I was playing on an Xbox controller, I was pressing the B button for me.
Okay. Yeah.
And, like, it would just be a matter of turning really quick and pressing the B button, turning really quick and pushing the B button. But then there were some that, like, you would have to just drop down because there was no... And those ones, like, you have to do the... You have to fall and push and hold the button to spawn the cube in front of you so that it moves along with you. And yeah, some of those I would do it too quickly, or I'd push the B button too quickly, and it would spawn on the wrong side of me. And I was like, "Oh no, I don't have time to reset it."
And dead.
But that was definitely user error, not the game's fault.
Yeah, and also we might want to say it's very unforgiving. Like, you don't have health, you just die.
You just die, yes, but you do have checkpoints.
There are checkpoints,
unless
yes.
you're playing on hard mode.
Hard mode, yeah.
There's one checkpoint at the beginning of the stage, and you have to get through the whole stage without dying. It is
Yeah, that's nuts.
nightmare. I did the first few stages as on hard mode, and then I just gave up because I'm like, nope.
Yeah. I might give it a shot for 30 seconds.
But yeah, like we said, gameplay fantastic. 10 out of 10. Super smooth, super fun. And then last one, content and endgame. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It is a very short game, which is the only reason it got a 9 out of 10. But like with the hard mode, with the speed running mode, with all the collectibles and stuff that you can get, it definitely has stuff to get people to come back to it. I know that like for the first level, because that's when I tested out the speedrun mode to see how it worked. Also, there was an achievement to complete a speedrunning mode and get all the collectibles in that at the same time. And then it was I had to do it on hard too. I had to go and get all the collectibles on hard. So I did it on the first level. But like the first level, if you complete it within, I think it's a minute and 30 seconds, your ghost gets added to the cloud, I guess, and other people can race against your ghost. And then another one of the achievements was to do the marathon speedrun. So you speedrun the entire game. And that one is as long as you beat it in under an hour and a half, your ghost will get uploaded. I think I did it in an hour and 4 minutes.
Nice.
And that's without getting any of the collectibles though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the speedrunning mode alone, like that's, I want to go back to that and try and see if I can get into that hour and a half while collecting everything. Because the way that the marathon speedrunning works is it's set up like you're watching someone streaming a speedrun where they say, okay, like, you know, I beat this at this boss or this level at this stage. Here's my total time. This was my total time for this stage. And then it goes through it. And then in the top right-hand corner, it says a % complete. So for like all the different collectibles that you get as you're going through your speedrun.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I do definitely want to see how the speedrunning. I'm excited to see like how fast people will be doing.
Oh, I'm sure there are going to be some crazy people doing that.
Yeah, hopefully there's some videos too, because that would be just to see. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try it, but
you should at least give like once you finally beat the final boss, you should give the marathon speedrun a shot.
Oh, I'll definitely try out the speedrun stuff, but there's no way. Like I have no delusions that I could get a top speedrunning score or anything.
Yeah. Same here. Like to be able to get like the bet, like you need to know the best ways to get from point A to point B, or point A to point B to point C to point D, and so on and so forth, without dying. Like, you have to find the fastest ways and the fastest ways without dying. And like, especially on some of the later stages, like, I have issues with that. Like, trying to just move fast. It's just like, no, I just end up killing myself.
Yeah. I bet there's probably going to be some streamers that pick it up and work on it.
I know Josh got the chance he got a Switch code for it, and he was going to check it out. So,
okay. Cool.
Let's see what he thinks of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, content end game, awesome. Especially like I said, just the speedrunning mode alone. If they didn't have hard modes, the speedrunning mode alone would be just an excellent addition to this game.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's go on to our final thoughts. What are your final thoughts on the game?
I think that overall everything is pretty great. Like like we said, the graphics, gameplay, excellent. Well, we discussed the graphics and all that stuff. For what it is, it's great. the 2D side-scrolling platformer. It might be one of my favorites, but there are a lot to go through as far as that. But yeah, I mean, it has lots of potential for replayability and stuff. I give it a 9.5 probably.
9.5.
I know you went a little lower than that, but I'm more generous, I guess. I don't know. Less picky. That's what it is.
I averaged out my scores is what I did. I was like, well, I had that 1-7, and then there was the 8, the couple of 8s, the 9 and the 10. So
I try not to give number scores.
I know. I've seen your reviews.
You what?
I've seen your reviews.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was not fun. I give this game a score of fun.
Yeah. I probably should come up with an actual scaling process, but I don't know. It was fun though. This was a fun game.
For my final thoughts, I'm actually just going to read the last paragraph from my review. Lightfall is a great indie game addition to your gaming library, whether you are playing it on Steam or on the Nintendo Switch. While visually the game isn't anything groundbreaking, the fast-paced gameplay and platforming are the real gems of this title. With the collectibles and speedrun mode to come back to, players can easily find reasons to keep coming back to play more. Lightfall, even after finishing the story, in closing, it's like it's in the far off corner, and I'm trying to read it, and like I'm missing the punctuation that I put in there because it's small text. I highly recommend this title to anyone who is big into platformers or trying to get into speedrunning. Like, this is a great game to start speedrunning because it gives you all the tools in the game. It may not win any awards this year, but it is definitely worth your time. I gave Lightfall an 8.5 out of 10. So it's definitely you should play this.
Well put. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you said it may not win any awards, but really it's like it could. But there's just so many indie games that are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what this cast is all about. Like, and we try to play as many as we can, but I mean, there may be one that wins best indie game of the year that we haven't even heard of.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and again, like, also to specify, like, we are the Nindies and Indies podcast. Like, we have a lot of focus on indies, but we're mostly focused on indies that are on the Nintendo Switch. If they're on the Nintendo Switch and Steam and other platforms, like, that's fine. But we're focusing on the ones that, like, pop up in the Nindies showcases and whatnot.
Yeah. Which was funny because this game was at PAX South. Lightfall was at PAX South.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go. Well, did I talk to them? I don't know. I don't think I did because they weren't announced for the Nintendo Switch yet.
Right.
During PAX South. And same with, which I did talk to some of the people from the Messenger, because I even said to them, I was like, hey, this game, I see that you have, it looked like, do you remember what the Super Nintendo boxes looked like with like the red stripes on the side?
Yeah.
Their little cards for the game looked like that. It looked like it was the same size too, a Super Nintendo box for the cartridge. So I was like, they have to be trying to get this on the Switch. And they're like, we're not sure yet. So Aftercharge too. That wasn't announced for the Switch yet, and now it is. So nice. I mean, there's tons of games that are already out and coming out that they might not even know they want to be on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Just Shapes and Beats, another one that was not announced for the Switch yet. And I actually even talked to the guy. I was like, this will be a perfect game for the Switch. Mm-hmm. With the simple controls, you could split it apart for 4-player Joy-Cons on the same screen. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh yeah, I might have to email Nintendo.
Yeah. But yeah, Lightfall, fantastic game. Highly recommend it.
Get it. I saw Hate Zero playing it.
Nice. But let's see, we didn't get any No Star Road mail, right?
No, I didn't worry about it right now just because we were recording late, and I'll probably end up putting another one out for Friday since, we had this today. We're recording on Tuesday, and so, you know what I mean? I didn't worry about it.
Okay. Well then, let's start wrapping things up. Draco, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Draco Augustus, and my Mulehorn Gaming email is draco@mulehorngaming.com. Hit me up there if you want to chat about anything or play games together, and we can figure something out.
And as always, for me, you can find me everywhere as ScrapGear, and I have started writing for the Mulehorn Gaming site again, just kind of taking it slow, focusing on doing reviews. I'm actually working on a review for Jotun Valhalla Edition for the site, but because it's a game that's a port and it's been out for a long time, and I went and bought it, and I didn't get an early review code, I'm taking my time with it. I'll get it out within the next week or so. But definitely, if you like video game stuff, check out mulehorngaming.com. And actually, not even just video game stuff, it can be all manners of geekery. We've floating around on the site, we've got a couple of things about comic books. We got things about tabletop RPGs. We got Nate Johns has been plowing out Avenger or Marvel movie.
Infinity War.
Yeah, Road to Infinity War. Just reviews of the Marvel movies leading up to Infinity War. That
was an excellent movie, by the way.
Okay, I still haven't seen it.
Go see it.
Well, we're gonna go. My wife and I are going to the movies tonight, and we're gonna go see Ready Player One because we still haven't seen that either.
I still haven't seen that either. I need to see that.
But yeah, so. Definitely check out mulehorngaming.com for all of your geek needs. And if you like listening to video game podcasts and want to listen to another one, be sure to check out the Analog Assault podcast, the official video game podcast of mulehorngaming.com. And before we sign off, be sure to follow Nindies and Indies on Twitter at Nindies and Indies. That's Nindies twice because "and" was too long. But that is going to do it for episode 12. Until next time, GG.
GG.